hello everybody. Dr. Goforth here again at Cornerstone Physical Therapy at our Woodfin location. Today we're going to talk briefly about the pelvic girdle. So what does that mean? So first of all, where's your pelvis? So if you take your hands and make this kind of L shape and put them on your waistline, you kind of dig in that bony shelf you fall onto, that is the top of your pelvis. So if you kind of make a circle around your body, from that to kind of the front where it meets, and then if I turn sideways, just kind of imagine this line meeting in the back. So this whole kind of region, including like the outside hip muscles, inner thigh, some deep low back muscles, that's the pelvic girdle. There's a lot of different muscles we could talk about. I'm going to point out what I think are the most important muscles that are attaching at or near the pelvic girdle. So I like to give my patients an analogy about the core. So one little thing in addition to the pelvic girdle is some respiratory muscles like your diaphragm way up top at your rib cage. So if we think about a balloon that makes up your core, which includes the pelvic girdle, at the top, or actually a better reference, a Coke can. At the lid of the Coke can is your diaphragm. The bottom of the Coke can is your pelvic floor, and if you don't know where that is, think inside the cheeks at the bottom, the perineum. That's the bottom of the Coke can. It's the diaphragm, pelvic floor. Wrapping all the way around the Coke can or your abdomen all the way around to your spine, think of like a corset. Let's think about the deepest abdominal muscle called the transversus abdominis. Another really important, really deep muscle or group of muscles are called the multifidi, and in this area we would think about both thoracic, lumbar, and sacral multifidi. Deep on the spine, they're these little angled muscles that traverse 2 to 3 segments on your spine, and they control rotation and some other motions. So we got the back, the multifidi, transverse abdominis around, diaphragm at the top, pelvic floor at the bottom. Now, with the pelvic girdle specifically, pelvic floor is at the bottom, the multifidi down here, and I would argue some other really, really important muscles are glute med on the side of your pelvis, as a collective group, your hip adductors on the inner thighs. There's some other muscles around there, but you could just kind of keep going all day, like hip flexors and other groups. But the reason why the pelvic girdle is so important, moving on from the anatomy, is you need all of your core, and specifically the pelvic girdle, to have equal strength in front, back, side to side, in the middle, to be operating at your best capacity. And when there's an imbalance, strength side to side or tightness front to back, what have you, you tend to feel pain or limits in your range of motion, things of that nature. For example, some of the patients that I see for pubic symphysis pain. And any of you women who have been pregnant or are pregnant and have experienced that, you know what I'm talking about. It's not fun when you're pregnant, that relaxing coursing through your body, especially in the 3rd trimester. The ligaments are relaxing, so you really need all aspects of that pelvic girdle to be nice and strong. From the front to the sides to the back, to at least try to keep you more in line in your pelvis so that you don't get as much of that shearing at the pubic symphysis in the front. And that's just one example. Another could be low back pain. So recapping, the pelvic girdle, we could say, is also part of the core, top diaphragm, bottom pelvic floor, transverse abdominis all the way around, multifidi on the back, some glute med, hip adductor muscles. The pelvic girdle is this kind of lower half, like a little ring. It's important to have a balance. When you don't have a balance, you can see dysfunction or pain and those things of that nature. So hopefully that wasn't too convoluted. If you're kind of more curious about the core, I believe we have some other videos on our website as well that goes more into depth about the diaphragm, some different ab muscles. So check those out. See you guys next time.